So I'm going to talk a little bit today, for about 10 minutes anyway, on collaborations, partnerships, strategic alliances. As most of you probably know, there's a lot out there on the how-to, the why-to, and everything else you could possibly want to know about strategic alliances and collaborations. We can't cover that in 2 to 10 minutes. So instead of trying to, what I'm going to talk to you about today are just a series of questions that I have asked our clients, that our clients have asked themselves, the answers to which can help you understand whether or not your organization is ripe for a potential strategic alliance. And so what I need you to do is, if you have a sheet of paper in front of you and a pen, if you don't, steal it from your neighbor, and just write the numbers 1 through 6. And next to each of those numbers, I'm going to ask you as we go through these questions to simply put down whether you agree or disagree with the statement. Okay? We'll get to that in a little bit. First, so is collaboration right for me? 10 minutes and a few questions to assess whether or not it is. The Hill Group Management Consulting Firm, we do a lot of things for a lot of clients. But here's the crux of the matter. Strategic alliances and partnerships is something that we are seeing more often than we ever have. When I started doing this stuff about 10 years ago, maybe once every couple of years we had an RFP come across our office requesting help for a strategic alliance or a partnership or a merger. And even just 10 years ago, the majority of the reasoning for those partnerships was on the left-hand side here. Bad reasons for partnering and collaboration. Basically, emergency need. Help, we're out of money. Help, we can no longer go on. Help, we need a partner to rescue us, to save us. Because if we don't find a partner, we can no longer continue to operate. I'm pleased to tell you, and you may know this in your organizations or in your communities, that there's been a pretty big shift in that. And that shift is from bad to good. I see RFPs come across our desk a lot, several times a year, if not more, where two organizations have good reasons for thinking about strategic alliances and partnerships. And those good reasons are, as you see here, right? That they feel like they can proactively work together to actually achieve something that, if separate, they could not achieve. That they're not in a place of shutting their doors and needing a partnership. They're in a place of wanting a partnership because they believe a partnership can actually help them do things that otherwise would not be possible. This is where you want to be if you're thinking about a strategic alliance or a partnership or a collaboration with another organization. And there's a whole host of reasons why the green, the good, is better than the bad. Can anybody think of a couple of reasons why it's better to be on the right-hand side than on the left-hand side?
Good asset to the partner.
Yeah, good asset to the partner. You have something you're offering, right? You have some bargaining power. You have an ability to create a good partnership.
Equal.
And you're equal. You're approaching it from a position of strength. And when both organizations are doing that, you can set up a good partnership, and actually mutually beneficial partnership, which is what's really important. So the question is how to get there. And here are, there's actually lots of questions, but here's some questions I'm going to ask you. Okay, here's our first question. Agree or disagree on your sheet of paper. My organization is 100% successful. Our mission is achieved. There's nothing more we can do to enhance ourselves and those we serve. Do you agree or disagree with that statement? If you hear from an organization, answer for your organization. If you're on a board, answer for that organization, or make up some hypothetical organization if you're in another boat. But agree or disagree with that statement. Second statement. Our mission isn't quite achieved yet, but we have all the resources available to keep doing all the things we want to do for the foreseeable future. So sure, we still have some things to do to impact our community. But we've got all the cash in the world, no big deal. We'll be fine. We'll crack that nut. Anybody in that boat? Maybe? Yes? Be good. Good to be. Good to be in that boat. Third question. All right, our mission is not yet achieved. Actually, these aren't questions, are they? They're statements. Our mission is not yet achieved. But we're trying to solve a pretty simple problem in our community. We wouldn't benefit from more smart and empathetic people to help us. Agree or disagree with that statement? Fourth statement. I'm 100% confident that our staff has the expertise and the bandwidth to deal with any major issues or opportunities that might arise. Agree or disagree? Fifth question. We have access to and know how to best use all of the new and exciting technology tools that can help us achieve our mission. Maybe, maybe not, yes or no? And then finally, we have nothing to brag about. Our staff is incapable of teaching and training others to improve our community. Maybe don't tell your colleagues, but silently agree or disagree with that statement. So if you're looking at your piece of paper, and if anywhere on that piece of paper you wrote the word disagree, show of hands if anybody wrote the word disagree. Anybody write it 6 times? 5 times? 4 times? 3 times? Twice? Once? Any 0? Anybody? Anybody? Fantastic. Well, then here's kind of a trick question, right? All of these questions are kind of trick questions. Every single one of your organizations is ripe for a strategic alliance. Because if there's something you stand to gain from creating a strategic alliance, or something that you have to offer, which, by the way, is something that a lot of organizations don't really think about when they're forming a strategic alliance, which is left over from that bad reasoning for creating a strategic alliance. Most organizations approach it from, how can it be beneficial to us? And my premise is that as an organization, as a board member or an executive director or a staff member, your job is to proactively approach strategic alliances and collaborations with both of those questions in the back of your head. How can we benefit, and how can our community benefit? And even if there's nothing that you need as an organization, if you answered agree to all of those statements except for number 6, where you have something you can share with others, you're still ripe for a strategic alliance or a collaboration. Because we're all in this together and we're trying to improve our communities. And if you have something to offer, you ought to be offering it in a way that can be mutually beneficial. And so that's a pretty simple version of me saying that every organization is really ripe for this stuff. So the next question is, what does this look like? And if any of you have explored strategic alliances at all, you've probably seen this continuum, right? David LaPiana Consulting has a lot published on strategic alliances. And from the left-hand side to the right-hand side, you have informal, loose collaborations and affiliations and partnerships. And at the right-hand side, you have mergers, corporate integrations, joint ventures. And everything in between is a possible opportunity for your organization to develop a type of partnership. And so most organizations, at least that we work with, whenever you say strategic alliance, you think it's just a shrouded word for merger. And sometimes merger is a bad word, or at least it has a bad connotation. And when, in reality, there are lots of options that are available to organizations to think about. And so, if you answer disagree to any of those statements, your next task is to take a look at this type of continuum and have a conversation in your organization proactively, not just when you need it, but every month, every board meeting. Where might we build a partnership that could be beneficial? And then also think about horizontal and vertical integration, right? Who will be your partners? In order to force yourself to think creatively about partners, which is what Abigail said, you have to think about organizations with similar missions or organizations with similar clients. But there's also a z-axis there, where you can think outside of the box. You don't need to be thinking about organizations that just immediately come to mind. Trouble is, if you get into this strategic alliance conversation too late, and you're kind of forced to make decisions, and you don't have much time, you might not be able to think creatively about who to partner with. So, moral of the story is, think about it every board meeting, every time you have an opportunity to, because every organization is ripe for collaboration.
Thank you, Jordan.